Hello. In this video, I'm going to break the myth of freedom and democracy here in the United States of America. Um, this video is directed towards people in America who don't believe in freedom here in the United States, who believe the United States isn't a free country. Okay, in the United States you have a country with people in it. Some of them, not all of them, I don't know. Well, I want to say this: you got people in America who believe that the United States of America is the only country that has a lot of freedom, and those other countries don't have any freedom, which is not true, because other countries, some of them, not all of them, aren't dictatorships. Most countries in the world aren't dictatorships. And you got some countries out there that have more freedom than the U.S. So, okay, freedom. America is a country with so much freedom. Let's look at the truth behind the pudding, shall we? Freedom. Okay, in America, you got a broken, fragmented, dysfunctional healthcare system that doesn't benefit people or poor people, regular, ordinary people. It just benefits the wealthy. If you're a wealthy American here in the United States, then the healthcare system here is the best in the world. But if you're poor, it's not the best in the world to you. I'm going to explain more about this. Okay, for some reason in the American healthcare system, people generate medical bills. And people go bankrupt over their medical bills. And you have to mortgage their home or go on GoFundMe pages just to generate money to pay their medical bills. Or they lose their home, or they just end up on the street. And medical bills are the number one cause of bankruptcy here in the U.S. And then you got a lot of people who lack basic health insurance. People are uninsured and underinsured. People who don't have the money to go to the doctor to treat an illness or get a surgery or whatnot. And they end up dying because they can't afford it. Okay, like for instance, in New York, a woman's leg is caught between a track and a subway car. And she's pinned, and she feels the pain, and she tells people in the subway, don't call a doctor, because she doesn't have any health insurance or the money to get surgery on her leg. How is that freedom? But in the United States of America lacks universal health care. And I heard this from a Canadian, someone in Canada, a 70-something-year-old man from Canada. I watched the video on his YouTube channel that's about him saying that he doesn't want his country, Canada, to be part of the United States. And he says, let's see, what did he say? He says that other countries don't offer universal health care. So the United States isn't the only country that doesn't guarantee universal health care to its citizens. You got other countries that lack universal coverage. So, I was wrong on that, and I think that some people who are wrong on that as well. The United States of America is not the only country in the world that offers universal health care. You got other countries that don't offer universal health care. Yeah. So, yeah, okay, propaganda. You guys watched that previous video of an audio recording that I did with my smartphone. I recorded everything that my mother said about me going abroad, and I'm unable to go abroad, and all the ridiculous stuff that she says, that I'm going to go abroad. I'm going to go abroad with no money, and when I get to a foreign country, I'm going to expect everybody to hand everything to me on a silver platter. And I believe I don't have to work, and people are going to hand everything to me on a silver platter, and people are going to feel sorry for me, and I'm going to be killed in a foreign country. Well, I'm here to debunk that. I believe in getting up and working, and I believe in working for something. I believe in having a job and work hard for something and earn something. I believe in that, and I want to do that. I don't want something. I don't want nobody to hand anything to me on a silver platter. I want to work for it, and I do. But I have a 12th grade education. Well, I have a 12th grade education. I can expand that by learning things online or going to trade school. And I'm going to save my money and go abroad. I've been doing that for quite a while now. For quite long now. And I know I got to have money to move to another country, and I know that. Moving to a foreign country isn't easy. It's hard, but it's worth it to live a better life outside of the U.S. And I heard my mother said that everybody wants to come to the United States for freedom and make more money on their jobs, which is ridiculous. The only people who are coming to America are people from Latin American countries and Haiti. That's that's who's coming to this country. People in countries in Europe don't want to come to America because they know that Europe is way better than America. A European's country in Europe to a European is way better than the United States. And that's a fact. And foreign people don't just come to America for freedom, and they want to live here because they have so much freedom and they make more money on their job. No. They come here to get an education, to get a job and make money. And after that, they head back to their home country. And they didn't come here to stay here. Yeah, some people come here to work. Some people come here because they're married to, because their brother or sister or are married to an American, and that's why they're living in this country. There's some foreign people. There's some people who live in the U.S. who are from a foreign country. They don't want us. They don't want to live here because they see that this country has a mass shooting problem, school shootings and mass shootings. A low minimum wage, a crappy, dysfunctional, bureaucratic healthcare system, income inequality, the gap between the rich and poor is widened. Some people from foreign countries see that, some don't. The ones who see that know that this country isn't great at all. Okay, the myth of democracy. Okay, there is no democracy here in the United States. There's no democracy for the people here, for regular, ordinary people here. Democracy is for the wealthy, the elite, people who run corporations and healthcare companies. Democracy is for them. Basically, the United States is an oligarchy. It's not a democracy. It's an oligarchy. It's not for regular people. It's for the wealthy and the powerful and the connected. Okay? So, the United States, is not the greatest country in the world that patriotic Americans claim it is. Claim to be. It's not the greatest country that patriotic Americans claim it to be. It's not. This country doesn't have a lot of freedom. It has less freedom. Freedom has been reduced. Like for instance, you don't have a lot of freedom. I mean, you don't have the freedom to be yourself. You don't have the freedom. You don't have the freedom to be yourself. You don't have social freedoms. The freedom to socialize with anybody, because everybody is socially disconnected and segregated, isolated, paranoid, and fake. People don't like to meet other people. People hate people. Nobody gives a damn about one another. Like, you can walk around with a sad face in America and it's frowned upon and nobody cares. It's basically the United States of America is a country where the strong survives. It's just basically, this freedom thing is basically a free-for-all. Basically, people care about their freedom than other people's freedom. And going back to someone saying, you live in a country, the United States of America, telling you if you're American, telling you that you live in the greatest country in the world and has a lot of freedom. You can get in your car and drive wherever you want in the U.S. Well, you can do that in Canada. You can do that in the United Kingdom. You can do that in France. You can do that in Australia. You can do that in New Zealand. But in those countries that have freedom, which those countries don't talk about, they don't go around and act like they're the epitome of freedom. They don't do what the United States does, or people in the United States does. And yeah, like you can get in a car in Canada and you can drive from coast to coast on the Trans Canada Highway. I heard some noise. So anyway, yeah, you can drive from coast to coast on the Trans Canada Highway. Okay, you got the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the police force in Canada, or the RCMP. Do you think an RCMP officer will pull you over and tell you that you can't drive from coast to coast in Canada on the Trans Canada Highway? You think they're going to tell you? You think that officer of the RCMP going to tell you that you can't do that? No, he's not going to arrest you and chain you up or throw you in a jail cell for that. He's not. So this myth of the United States of America is the only country in the world that has freedom, and those other countries don't have any freedom. It's just absolutely ridiculous. There's no, it's just basically just ridiculous fear mongering and propaganda. That's basically what it is. And some say that, well, what my mother said in that voice recording, that me as a person or anybody has to have an education in order to go abroad. You can't be uneducated. Well, I got the internet. I can learn something on the internet. It can give me an education. And also, I can go to trade school. I don't have to go to college. I can go to trade school and get an education. Yeah, I got a 12th grade education, and I can expand on that. I can learn new things. I know the metric system. I know how universal health care works. I know some few things about how people talk in other countries. Like, for instance, in Canada, they say the word "a" all the time. A. Well, they don't, in Canada, they just don't say that. They say that in the United Kingdom. They say that in Australia. They say that in New Zealand. Yeah, and I don't believe that people in Canada live in igloos and they travel around on dog sleds. No, they don't. People in Canada live in apartment buildings or flats. They live in homes. They drive the same cars that Americans drive. Yeah, it's a country. You know? And yeah, you got Americans here in the U.S. that are uneducated, and they can't find Britain or any other country on the map because of the education system here in the U.S. The education system is not that great. That's why you got ordinary Americans who don't know anything. And I'm one of them, but I'm slowly getting out of it because I'm learning things online now. Yeah. So, and I'm learning French right now, and I've been learning French. I've been putting it off I've been putting it off, and I've been learning. So I need to learn this language. I need to kick myself and learn this. I can't, and I've been sidetracked by other things. So I need to learn. And yeah, I got learning issues. I got memory issues. I can't remember what I learned, but I can overcome it, and I can. It's not too late for me. It's not too late for me to meet that special woman. Meet that special woman, who I will like and fall in love with, and she falls in love with me, and we be girlfriend and boyfriend, and if I want to go further in a relationship with her through marriage, I'm gonna talk to her one day. I'm gonna get on my knees and grab her hand. I'm gonna say this to you, so and so. I loved you from the start, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. You are a sweet, feminine, down to earth, easy to talk to, an approachable woman who embraces her femininity. So and so, will you be the honor of being my wife? Will you marry me? She'll jump up and down and say yes, and hug me and kiss me. Yeah, we get married. She gives me love, sex, romance, companionship, and after all of that, we have kids. We start a family. And hope that woman will be a woman outside of the U.S. from another country. Not a woman here in the U.S. because, let's face it, women in the U.S. are damn near impossible to meet and get along with. They twist your words around. They drive you crazy. They make you miserable and feel bad about yourself. Yeah. Yeah, and they're not educated. So yeah, I think I got off a topic. I got off topic. So the United States being the only country in the world that has a lot of freedom, and those other countries don't have a lot of freedom, it just form of brainwashing. Because none of that stuff isn't true. Because you got people who lived in the U.S. and they went abroad and they see what countries are like outside the U.S. and what they heard here in America about other countries are terrible. They don't have no freedom, and America is a great country and it has a lot of freedom. They see that it turned out to be a lie. It's not true. So some of the things that my mother said in that voice recording was propaganda. Some of it was true. The part about you got to generate wealth. You got to have a lot of money to move abroad. And I'm saving my money and I'm doing that. Yeah. But her saying that everybody wants to come to the U.S. and just talk about people from Latin American countries and Haiti coming to the U.S. to escape how bad their country is. But I'm here to tell you, why would anybody want to come to the United States? Why? There's no happiness, there's no joy, there's no blitz, there's no fun, no nothing. Everybody works all the time. People don't socialize with each other. Everybody's in a bubble. Everybody is suspicious of others. And everybody judges people and look down on them and talk down on them. The United States is not a happy country. You got people from other countries who don't want to come to the U.S. because they know that their country is better than the U.S. But, foreign people who want to come here, basically they just want to get rich, have a lot of money. They just want it all. They want it all. They want to be greedy. They want to get something in the U.S. that they can't get in their other countries. I'm here to tell you, money and having a lot of things isn't everything. Social human connection is important. Connecting with people, making friends, you know, finding that special lady. If you're a lonely heterosexual male, regardless if you're an incel or not. That's important right there. And your mental health. Your mental health is important. If you have a body and mind connection in a country that's saner and freer, friendlier and more civilized, with friendlier cultures, I mean, you have a good mind and body connection with your mental health. You'll be normal. You'll feel good about yourself. You have confidence. You don't have to worry about no one tearing you down and fragmenting your mental health. Because here in the U.S., I mean, your mental health will be fragmented. You won't have no mind and body connection here. A mind and body connection here. You won't have that here. Your mental health will be destroyed, fragmented, and broken by toxic people who say toxic things to you here in the U.S. I ain't saying that all Americans are toxic, but you got those Americans out there who are toxic, who will do considerable amount of damage to your mental health, will turn you into a rant-raving lunatic that will make you break down in tears, make you cry, make you sob, make you feel miserable, make you feel angry, make you go crazy. Yeah. And, you know, I don't look at, in the U.S., I don't look at individual states. You know, my mother likes to bring out California. California, California, California. Well, California is part of the U.S. And she said that Texas is the land of milk and honey. I have a better life in Texas. And also here in the U.S. and not in California, which makes no sense. Because let's look at this in a broad text, okay? The United States of America is a country that has 50 states and territories. Okay? It doesn't matter what part of the U.S. you go to. The United States of America is the most expensive country in the world. The healthcare cost is through the roof. You know, everything's expensive towards, you know, food, clothes, any things that you need. And you have to work longer hours just to make enough money to get what you need. Because since everything is so expensive, your purchasing power has been reduced. So if you have reduced purchasing power in an expensive country where everything is through the roof, regardless of what state you live in, you don't have the freedom to buy whatever you want because your purchasing power has been reduced. And you don't. And here in the U.S., you have to live on a lot of money to live here. In some countries, you can live less, and you don't have to live more on money. You can live less, depending on what kind of lifestyle you live in and what kind of person you are. You know? Some say this: the United States of America is the home of the slaves and the land of the greed. Because the United States of America is a country where you got health insurance companies and corporations who are greedy. They care about, all they care about is money. They don't care about regular people. They profit off of regular people. Like in the healthcare companies profit off of people by making money. They deny people care and make money. The more people that they deny, the more money that they make. It's all about it's all about money. Yeah, and it's all about It's about individualism and self-reliance. Don't need no one's help. Being independent. You know, the United States of America is a very lonely country when it comes to a lack of social human connection. Because life is not about making money and having a job and having a nice car, and bragging about you went to this country, and bragging about how much. If you're a man, you brag about how much money you made, how many women you laid, and all that BS. Life is not all about that. Life is about just living life, enjoying nature, socializing with people, making friends, connecting with other people through social human connection, having a mind and body connection, and feeling good about yourself. Being around people, being down to earth. That's what life is about. But in America, it's all about money and wealth and power, and just tearing people down if they failed in life. And who is these people to say that you're not good enough? Who are these people to tell you that? People don't like you for who you are here in the U.S. They just judge you and look down on you and say that you're not going to amount to anything. Yeah. I guess if someone gets angry and grabs a gun and go on school shootings and mass shootings, people in America, some of them will label it as, well, they gotta accept rejection. They gotta accept that they're not gonna amount to anything. They gotta accept that they're destined to stay where they are and grow old and die. These people have no business saying that to anybody. And I don't care what those people say. You got these people in America who are so religious. They're a bunch of Bible thumping, awkward, narrow-minded people that talk about what's in the Bible, and they think that the Bible is bigger than God. And those people are just a lost cause, and they don't understand anything. In other countries, you got people who are religious, and they don't use religion in the Bible to cover up what they do that's so horrendous. They don't do that. And there's a saying, you don't have to go to church just to be a good person. You can be a good person. You can be a good person and never go to church. I guess if you don't go to church, you're not a good person. That's a lie. And it is. So, and also, before I end this video, this country is filled to the brim with people who are cocky, who are arrogant, who think they're better than everybody. Think that they're the epitome of freedom or whatnot. It's unearned and it's ridiculous, and I don't have that mindset. Yeah, I got this passport right here. Hope you guys see this. Hope the camera isn't blurring up. If it does, I guess me speaking, it's you guys can understand me through that. I really don't know how to renew a passport or get a passport. Yeah, I don't know how to get a U.S. passport or renew one. All I know is like you can fill out some forms and that's about it. So I don't know. But if I do this on my own, I will understand. You know, I don't know that much. I'm not educated. Yeah, I just got a high school education. So yeah, there's some jobs out there that require a higher education, which I don't have. So I can't give up on that. So if I don't know anything, I can learn. But I guess just because I have a learning disability doesn't mean I can't learn anything. But I can learn something. I can go to trade school and I can learn things online. You know, and yeah, In order for me to go abroad, I gotta save a lot of money. I gotta create wealth, and I could do that. Get a job or sell some things that I don't need, like a car or a house, and get money out of that. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going. I don't know if I'm probably going to fail abroad. I'm probably going to end up on the streets of a foreign country, which I don't want to. If I which I don't want to, which I don't want. But if I have a higher education, then I won't have. Then I won't end up being on the streets. But I kind of blame myself for not learning anything in school. I didn't want to learn anything. I had this learning disability. I didn't want to learn anything in school. All I did was just cause trouble and get in trouble because I had a brain where I just couldn't, because my brain has a problem receiving and processing information. And my mother and my dad looks at me like I'm broken and they got to do everything for me. I can't do my own grocery shopping. I can't pay my bills. I can't do any of these things because I have a learning disability and I have a temper. Yeah, in the past I had a nasty temper because I let things get to me. And I realize I have this temper because I'm in a toxic society here in the US. I'm around toxic people. I'm around people who just put me down and treat me like dirt, People who judge me. People who look down on me. People who feel that I'm not worthy of of accomplishing anything. You know, I can't get mad and upset over things, over stuff like that. And I can't. I gotta grow up. I gotta be an adult. I gotta be an adult. And also I've been treated like a child. You know, I've been shuffled. I've been pushed aside. I mean, people had to remind me not to go here and go there because I'm lost and I don't know anything. So I guess if I'm lost, I don't know anything, that means I got to sit back and be silent and say nothing and let people do everything for me, according to my mother and my father. So yeah, okay. In order for me to go abroad, I gotta save money. I gotta create wealth. I gotta have a higher education in order to land a job in that foreign country. because I'm planning on working when I go abroad. I'm not going to go to a country and never work and expect everybody to hand everything to me on a silver platter, which my mother said to me, which is a lie. I don't believe in that, which I couldn't say to her. You know, you got parents out there who don't want to listen to their children. They don't want to hear what they have to say. You know, if you're a parent, you got to listen to your children. Listen to what they have to say. Yeah, your children are going to lie to you, but you got to listen to them anyway. Okay? It's like this thing that, like, the boy cried wolf. And the boy cried wolf so many times, and when he really saw the wolf and started crying, cry wolf, a lot of people just ignored him. So, you know, and I went through that. It's like I'm the boy that cried wolf so many times. You know, my mom and dad, they don't listen to what I have to say. They don't listen to me. If I have something to say, they don't hear what I got to say on certain things. You know, I got to realize, you know, if I want to become a father, I got to listen to my children. I got to listen to what they have to say. You know, I got to get along with my kids. I got to treat my kids right. You know, I'm going to raise them. I'm going to teach them right from wrong. I want to spend time with them. You know, play video games with them. You know, take them to the park. You know, or I can take my wife and my kids to the park. You know, me and my wife can sit on the bench and talk to each other while my kids, our children, just play with each other. You know? I know some of you don't care about that, but hey, if you don't want to hear about all this, hey, I understand that. So, you know, I'm going to learn about how to renew this. You know, this U.S. passport. Right now, it's still good. You know, and it's an honor to have this. So, that's all I got to say in this video. Cheers and au revoir. Goodbye.